If you're looking to turn your Twitch streams into extra content to share out onto social media, such as Instagram Reels, TikToks, and YouTube Shorts, this is my process. And it doesn't take any extra apps. All you have to do is open up your Twitch dashboard on the browser and click through a couple things. And let me show you how. When you're logged into Twitch, just go to Creator Dashboard, or you can go directly to dashboard.twitch.tv. And then over here on the left, go to Content, Video Producer, and then you'll see your VODs. I can look at like the one yesterday. So I can click in here and then go to the VOD page. I like kind of look through to see, okay, I'm smiling at the camera. I must be chatting or something. So I just kind of like go through and see, like sometimes I have like, here's the time I'm just focusing or whatever. And it's like, there's no talking. There's probably nothing interesting, or, sometimes I hold stuff up. So that might be good times to clip. So I can't, I skip through and actually watch through and generally see what looks good. And then I'll play it until after like the end of the clip that I would want. Like here, like I just made the donut, right? I'd actually watch it and listen to it and see if there's a part I actually want to clip. And so here, like it gives you, auto shows the ad caption, so you can toggle that off if you don't want. But I like to use it just to also get a sense of where the content is. So like here it says pull that over or whatever. Like so like here, like I can just scrub it, drag this bar so I can see. Like so, for example, if I want like it just end on plate. And then I go to edit here. So you can have this vertical option. So you can do full layout, which is just this one rectangle, which you can shrink down if you want. And you can also change it to, like if I just, let's say in this context, I would want it on my screen. So maybe like this is what I want to show. And it, like for this version, you can have full vertical. You don't need to have fully vertical if you don't want. Like let's say I didn't want to capture anything of the chat pod. I could just pull it about this much, and then it would just have some blurry background of like basically from the rest of this screen. So that's one option. So you can play it to see what that looks like. So this is pretty good, and it's not bad. But then if you want instead, it does. Yeah. So here right now I'm looking at I went to this edit portrait version. So like I can change it from full layout to stack layout instead, if that makes more sense for my content. So I can do the pink. So the pink one is a pink rectangles on top, and the cyan, blue, whatever one is on the bottom. So if I instead want myself on the top, I would swap this, right? And I could also drag this. So let's say I want more of maybe I want the duck to show more. So maybe I have it take up more of this space down here, but then I'll have to shrink my box here a little bit more. So this is how I would do it. Yeah, so it makes it super, super easy, quick. I don't have to download the whole VOD or anything. I can just do it all here. That's why I'm able to make all these clips. So it's really nice how Twitch has this capability. So it's nice. So I can just do apply and then add a clip title, which is required, and you can set it as featured clip depending on how your Twitch settings are. Non-featured clips might not show up on your page. I think that's how I set it up. And then you can also add it to your stories. I don't know if you're familiar with the stories, like lets people who follow you see what's going on and stuff too. So it's good to get visibility out there. Kind of be like, here's a peek of what you were missing out for not tuning into my streams and stuff. So yeah, you get to see both views, and I'd add a title here. You get my sculpting. I don't know. The clip titles are still a thing I could work on.
Snap option.
So yeah, it's saving the clip in like the two different formats that it has, the horizontal and the vertical. So I already checked the box to have it shared as story. And it's saved as a featured clip too. So I don't usually download the clip, but I can. I can also do that later too. It's just saved in my clips. But what I usually do after it's done saving, I click on the YouTube button and it opens up this export clip view. And it's muted. I'll just pause it too. So it pre-populates with what my title was with ads in this part, which I don't know if it hurts me to use this on YouTube or not, but sometimes I'll take that out. My description, for Instagram, I like to add some more description. I like to add more to it. So sometimes I'll think about what I add for. Yeah, so I have it connected. So YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, I have that set up. I don't have a Snapchat. So yeah, I usually just say like a peek into, I don't know, some text here is good just for SEO and stuff too. To my process of sculpting, of 3D modeling or sculpting sculpting things with Nomad Sculpt. Yeah, so just adding some more text so YouTube knows what's going on here and stuff like that. I usually add more to the description and stuff like this. Sometimes I remove something. I don't know. It depends on how I feel about things, but this seems fine. So maybe I'll also copy this for saving. So then I'll just press share to YouTube, and it goes out and shares it as a short on my YouTube. And then TikTok, I usually just kind of just don't do a whole lot of stuff. So maybe I'll add Nomad Sculpt just for, and then maybe ducks. I don't know. Donuts, maybe? I don't know. Just a couple keywords or whatever. And post that to TikTok. Sometimes the TikTok one fails. Like, I don't understand why, but sometimes it fails, and sometimes I go through and download the clip and upload it manually, and sometimes I don't bother. I don't know. Depends. And then Instagram, I'm more active on Instagram. And I don't know. I'm more careful about keeping my Instagram looking good and stuff, so I try to have better description and stuff like that. I guess here I focus more on this one. So the process of sculpting things with Nomad Sculpt. I guess stay tuned for more Nomad Sculpt. Or just stay tuned for more. A peek into my process of sculpting things with Nomad Sculpt. Stay tuned for more. Let's rewatch. Let's see how.
So, pull that over. Pull that in. Using arrows. Switch back to this. Make sure this touches. Yeah, I'm gonna want it to be smushed more on the bottom, just so it has more contact though. build plate. I like to use the snap option, so snapping 90 degrees.
Oh, I could probably have.
Pull that over. Pull that in. Use some arrows.
I could have had shifted this over more so you can actually see the side where I turn on the snap option, but that's fine.
Make sure this touches. Yeah, I'm gonna want it to be smushed more on the bottom just so it has more contact to the build plate.
I said little plate. I said build plate, but it thought I said little plate. A peek into my process of sculpting things with Nomad. Oh, sculpting things on Nomad. Sculpting things on my iPad using Nomad Sculpt with considerations for 3D printing. Or something like that. And then sometimes I also add a link to, like, especially for my duck stuff, sometimes I'll also add a link to that. Check out my ducks. Something like that. Although Instagram, it's not great to have links just because they're not clickable in the descriptions, but at least this is easy enough for people to get to if they did want to. So then I share it to Instagram, and yeah, that's how I get it. And then when I'm in Instagram, that's also where I like another extra credit kind of thing is going to Instagram and changing the preview, like the cover image, I guess. That's what it'd be called. So once it's on Instagram, yeah, so it's a whole process. Maybe, I don't know, sharing that now makes sense. But yeah, there's like, I go through and edit I scrub to find the cover image too. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It doesn't do that, but you can also share. So what I do if I really want to share a link is I'll share that post or reel to my story, and then I'll add a link there. So that's the workaround to having clickable links. So that's, yeah. So like, especially like if I'm, like releasing a new duck, like I did for Joe. So for those new here, this is Joe, the coffee duck, my newest 3D model. This is Big Joe with a cup of Little Joes with coffee. So yeah, for that, I think I made a story of my post of Joe and I was able to add a link that way. So yeah, that's my process for making clips. That's how I'm able to get so many out there. It still like takes time to figure out like what clip is good. What's a good clip where. Yeah, it definitely helps that they have some of these tools built in place. There's still more that it could still be better, more flexible on things, but it's still really good, I'd say.